in this video, I want to talk about improvisation, which is a way to say making it up on the spot. Now you might think, hang on, I'm just getting started. I just want to learn these tunes. Which is right. Way to think about it. But I wish that I had understood what was meant by improvisation earlier on, and how to go about it from the very beginning. That way, your entire time of learning this instrument or any instrument can be used to store away nuggets of information, store away, make deposits from all this work you're doing. Deposit things in your subconscious that you can use as you gain technical ability. So when some people think about improvisation, they think about like some of the great saxophone players and these blazing solos that are just so beautiful, or violinists, or Grappelli, or any bluegrasser that's just some Stuart Duncan thing that he comes up on the fly, or Darrell Anger, just Billy Contreras, Alex Hargreaves, Brittany Hall. So many, any professional that plays in a studio has to be able to come up with new ideas that sound fresh, right? Or what's the point of paying somebody if they can't play something that sounds new? And so, yeah, that's a huge art and a ton of work and a lifelong ambition of work and work and work. But it can start immediately, because all it means is making a little change and seeing what that does. Just a little change. And learning these patterns and the way they sound, like when I go from the third note in the scale to the first note in the scale, what does that sound like? When I go from the first note to the fifth note, what does that sound like? And what it becomes is that the same way that some people, honestly, not so much me, but a lot of people can whistle or sing. Your brain thinks about jumping from one note to another, and then your muscles, in our case vocal cords, if you're whistling your mouth, change to make it happen. Well, the same things have to happen for this instrument, but instead of being these muscles up here, you're talking about the muscles in your hands. And so there is no improvisation itself is, can you teach it? Like I could play some things and then you could play them, but that wouldn't be improvisation, right? Because you'd just be playing what I play. But what I want to do is give you an example of the stuff that Mary Had a Little Lamb. We're going to start. The melody and is nice because it's not too many notes, and you can play with it. And so let's just jump right in, and I'll show you what I mean. And I haven't worked any of this out, so it's just going to be kind of off the cuff. might work okay. Like some of it you might say, wow, that doesn't sound very good. That's part of it too. Learning what you like, what you don't like, right? So let's just start. I'll play the melody first. See what happens here. Okay. That was just me, however you think that sounded. That was just kind of what flowed through my mind at the moment when I was playing that. But, that's me. I've been doing this a while. If you're on these lessons, this is probably new to you, right? But that's the whole point of learning a scale, is because you can add in notes from the A scale and just see what you think. Okay? So let's just try adding in. I'm going to try just adding in one note here or there. Okay? Just that much. Going from instead of going da da da, okay, I'll go just that much. Is different. It happens spontaneously. That is improvisation. Okay? And you can do that too. It doesn't have to be something. That. And that's something it's another reason I wanted to introduce this here, is because a lot of people, including me, you grow up wanting to do these, these acrobatic licks, like Simone Biles or something on the fiddle, on the fingerboard. But really, the beauty of improvisation is just trying to make a pretty melody even prettier, more interesting or something, not just to do acrobatics. And so it doesn't take a lot. You can just do. That was a little bit different. Mary had a little lamb. So, the whole point of this is to say that you should give yourself freedom to try to replace notes in there with other notes from the scale. And if you're a singer, try singing it just a little bit differently. Mary had a little lamb, something like that. Or if you play other instruments, try to think of it like a soul singer, R&B. Try to think of it like, just whatever. And then try to find those notes. Because, and they're all going to be part of that A major scale. was just C sharp, D, C sharp at the end. Now there are obviously, anyone, you can use notes that are not in that scale. You can do a lot of different things, but that's way beyond, where anyone, at this level should be trying to get to, because it actually even slow you down, because the most important thing is getting fundamentals and taking small steps to get you to the place that you want to be. And actually, if you try running too fast, it just becomes frustrating and causes bad habits. It's like trying to learn a language and not doing the upfront work, but just going to the country and just saying the things, saying sounds that you think sound good. Maybe going to France and talking English in a French accent. Where is your bathroom? What? Just stop. So anyway, that's what I would encourage you to do. It doesn't have to be complicated. Had a little lamb, a little lamb, a little lamb. And it's okay to make mistakes here. It's okay but just pick one or two differences, one or two extra little notes to add in, using, trying to use your wrist as much as possible, using those note placements, using the A scale that you've already internalized, and see what happens, and and be ready to forgive yourself if something doesn't go well, or something, you play something, you're like, oh, that was bad. Yeah, that's okay. It's going to be. That's just the way it is. And it's that way for all of us, but it's only through doing that, not to do that again. Or or you find a spot, you find a certain weakness, and then to shore it up. Like if you're playing here, let's say you play that little bit flat like that, okay? Mary had a little, that's doesn't really sound all that great, at least to my ear. And so then that what you need to do is you got to focus on that spacing between those two notes. And what does that mean? That means doing it's over and over again. It's only about muscle memory here and making your fingers do what you want them to do. And to do that, it's like any other sport, anything, just repetition. So we're talking, maybe 5 minutes might be enough, actually. But if you got to do it over and over again instead of doing like playing the tune, just focus on those little parts where you mess up, and then at the same time, and then go back in. Okay. And just go for it from early on, and you'll see that as time goes on and your experience with this instrument goes on, that you start being able, oddly, to hear in your brain what's about to happen on here. And then then that's a potent combination for serious progress on and on and on. All right, well, thank you. I hope that was helpful. Don't feel overwhelmed. I didn't mean to overwhelm anybody. Just, but to more, start with freedom right up front. Freedom based on, good foundational technique. All righty. Thank y'all.